And welcome back again. This is a special birthday one. It was suggested or requested by Togera Godzilla. Happy birthday, Togera! Who asked the question, who won a fight? The 2003 Shredder from the 2003 series Ninja Turtles TMNT. And at first I thought it was Vecna, who is, I think, a D&D character, but no, it's Venger from the old school D&D cartoon from the 80s. Which I did not watch, but I at least had some knowledge of. Apparently, so he was the main, Venger was the main antagonist of the D&D series. His goal was to get the enchanted magical weapons from our main cast so we could defeat I think it was the Black Dragon and Tiamat or whatever, and the Dungeon Master. Apparently in the unedited episode, it's actually revealed that he is the son of the Dungeon Master. He is an extremely powerful sorcerer, capable of doing pretty much anything a sorcerer can do, including like fireballs, manipulate the elements, healing, all that kind of stuff. He had armies of orcs under his command and oh god, what was it? What was the thing's name? Like a dark something shadow or something like that as a henchman minion. Oh, hold on. Venger D&D. Let's see here. Venger. Jaden's Adventures. Yeah, that was the name of it. He's a very powerful sorcerer, knowing about every single spell from the book, which includes necromancy, elemental manipulation, especially lightning, shape-shifting, etc. Although, God, these ads really get annoying after a while. Although he poses such a threat, he's neither immortal nor invincible. He has a sister named Karina, which implied that he was human before turning to the dark side. Basically, yeah, any sorcerer spell you could think of in D&D, he has under his belt. Now, let's see here. He also has travels on a mounted dark horse who flies and breathes fire. He also has a henchman known as the Shadow Demon. That's what it was. And as well as an army of orcs. It is said that he got his powers from the one whose name cannot be spoken. But isn't that your name now? So, by saying that, aren't I saying your name? Because that's the name I give you, the one who cannot be spoken. That full long title is your name. So yeah, that's not a lot to go off of, but let's see here. Can we find anything else about this guy? Unfortunately, no, it doesn't look like it. Point being, yeah, he was powerful. The Shredder from 2003 Teenage Mutant Turtles, or Chirel, it was the main Shredder and the main antagonist throughout most of the 2003 series. By the way, when I think of the Ninja Turtles, the animated series, this is the series I remember watching as a kid. Early 2003 one that I was still watching. I was only like, how old was I? Maybe 14, 15. So yeah, I was still very much watching Ninja Turtles at that point. This is the one I remember, and that Shredder, that design. This isn't the most badass version I've seen of the design, but that design, that's the Shredder I always remember. That badass mother, like seriously. And so, yeah, now, unlike many other versions of the Shredder, this Shredder is not human. He is an Ultram, which is the same species as Krang. And he's known as an evil Ultram who used his exosuit as a human vessel. And basically, he is a notorious intergalactic war criminal who has adopted numerous aliases. He's the only known blood red Ultram, as opposed to the species' normal pink color, and has a purple scar over his left eye and 3 horn-like protrusions on each side in the center of his head. He served as the main antagonist for the first 3 seasons and the film Turtles Forever, and a minor antagonist for the rest of the series. Now, in his as just a Krang, Ultram, he's not powerful. He's got a lot of experience, which is great, but he's not strong at all. The Krang species is not very strong. Dangerous in terms of intelligence, but not strong. So yeah, right out the gate, he'd lose instantly. But we're obviously looking at the Shredder itself. Like the Shredder in terms of his physical body and all that. On his own, he's not like I said, he's not the most dangerous enemy given his size and body design. However, he has demonstrated great craftiness, speed, and strength, successfully knocking around the 1988 counterpart in Krang. So while he's not overly powerful compared to his actual Shredder form, like the Shredder exosuit, he's still strong enough to actually knock around Krang himself and the 1988 counterparts Shredder, Uncle Phil Shredder. So the fact of the matter is, like, even as an Ultram, he's actually pretty powerful. But once he gets into his Shredder suit, we're now talking about a guy who has great skill in martial arts, outfighting all of the turtles His primary weapons are the claws he uses on his armored hands. He's quite capable of taking out almost any enemy in close combat. Shredder is also known as knowledge of the Ultram sciences and has upgraded his suit many times over. He has used other versions, including one that could actually grow in size and had a number of weapons built into the hands. His ultimate, he had several different suits, including an improved exoscoop, which basically had including an improved exosuit that had 4 arms and multiple blades. Like, this guy was armed to the goddamn teeth. And even without like the armored like samurai, he still had a cybernetic head under on top of it. Like it was just a badass design they gave him. Master martial artist, the enhanced strength that a exosuit would give it. Let me see here. There's prisoner. There's feudal style Shredder, rogue in the house. Yep, bad day. Ultram exosuit. I'm going through all of his super exosuit, and BTTS Shredder, which I believe was one of the specials, if I'm not mistaken, which is the image I have right up here. Point being, this guy was dangerous. He was intelligent. He could take down the turtles no problem. So in a fight between these two conquerors of worlds and these two dangerous evil individuals, who would win? Well, if it just came down to a straight physical fight, the Shredder would take this fight no problem. If he's at any point able to close the distance, this fight is over very quick. That said, Shredder, despite having a lot of technology on beck and call, doesn't really have anything to deal with magic. And unfortunately, Venger has a lot of magic on his side, including elemental manipulation, necromancy, and any other spell you can think of that comes from like a D&D source book, basically, for a sorcerer, in theory. So, unfortunately, in terms of like arsenal, versatility, and variety, Venger has the complete edge here. Now, in terms of experience, combat ability, and durability, I'd argue, that would go to the Shredder. So, who's going to outmatch who here? I think really it comes down to who can manipulate the other to get the advantage over the other. And what I mean by that is this. Venger can throw all the elemental attacks he wants, but if Shredder being a ninja can hide, not going to matter. But the Shredder can try to attack all he wants, but as long as Venger is keeping at a distance, he's not going to be able to get any sort of real clear-cut hit in. So the question is, who can lure the other one closer to them, or at least in a striking range, be it with the elemental, be it with range attacks for Venger versus getting in close for Shredder. And I think, given what has been described of both of these characters, I would say the Shredder is definitely the more cunning of the two. He's a lot more calculating. He's a lot more cunning. He has a lot more just overall experience. So it's at any point in the fight, he may start to try to talk and maybe negotiate with Venger, satiate his ego a little bit, and placate him just enough so he can get in close, try to form an alliance, and then backstab him in the end. I think that is basically how this fight would kind of break down in the long run, because honestly, if it's close range, Shredder's going to literally shred this guy to pieces. But if it's long range, he's got the edge over the Shredder, but the Shredder's not dumb and is just going to stare at. He's going to get the hell out of the way, dodge, whatever, and then find cover and hide. So I think what I would ultimately go with here is the Shredder. Now, granted, if he maybe uses necromancy or throws an army of orcs at him, honestly, I think this version of Shredder could probably handle an army of orcs without that much difficulty, because this Shredder isn't human. He's not even organic. This entire Shredder you see is a suit. It's a robot, basically. So it's far stronger than any normal human could be, and probably at least the equivalent of some of the heavier duty races of D&D, like an orc or a bugbear or a troll or an ogre, or something. Maybe not an ogre, but still, because he's mechanical, he has far greater limitations than any organic individual of relative size that isn't like divinely strength or Superman or something like that. So I will probably go with the Shredder because he is more cunning. He can probably have Venger lower his guard. and then ultimately get in the killing blow when he's ready for it. But that's just my opinion. What do you think in the comments below? Because honestly, I can see the argument for Venger. Excuse me, no problem. But I'm curious what others have to say about it. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Happy birthday. And I'll see you for the next one.